Have you ever found yourself needing an additional work table but don't want to spend days and days putting it together? In this episode of Home Built Workshop, I'm going to show you how I made a super simple yet really sturdy work table. One of my goals for this year is doing a lot more work on guitars, from building and doing repairs and maintenance and setup, and for me that requires having a dedicated space where I can have all my guitar tools and everything set up so I don't have to get them out every single time. So I need to put together some sort of table that I can use as that dedicated space. I'm going to start out preparing the top. Now this is a commercially available workbench top. It has not been taken care of well. I picked it up used quite a while back. So I'm going to start out using a hand plane and knock off a lot of the high spots. Now I don't need it to be 100% flat, but I definitely need it flatter than it is. Once I've got it fairly flat, then I'll give it a good sanding and round over the corners with a round over bit, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. And finally, a coat of boiled linseed oil will finish up the top. And now I can move on to the base. To build the base, I'm going to just use some regular 2x4 material that I picked up at the lumber yard. It's really inexpensive, and if you take your time when you're choosing the boards, you can get some pretty usable pieces out of it. Now I'll start cutting everything down to length. I'm going to run one side on the joiner just to give me a nice flat surface to use to mount the tabletop to. Now with the majority of the components all cut, now I can start on some pre-assembly, but first I got to get this bench top sitting on top of my saw. Ugh, that's heavy. Now I'm going to pre-drill some pilot holes for screws. And I'll countersink those holes with a Forstner bit so I can plug the holes with some dowels. Now I'll clamp my pieces in place, apply some wood glue to the ends, pre-drill the rest of the way for the screws, and drive in some nice long screws to secure it. Sometimes you just got to tweak the alignment a little bit with a hammer. Do we call that fine-tune? Fine-tune the fit. So now with the outer box assembled, I want to measure the diagonals on this box to make sure that everything comes out nice and square. It's good. While that glue's setting up on the base, I want to get the legs ready. Now I could just take these legs as they are and screw them straight onto that base. It would be completely functional, but I thought maybe I could make it look just a tiny bit better by adding a small taper to this leg. And just for fun and a little bit of practice, I decided to use a hand plane to square up the last leg. And now using my jigsaw, I'll cut a relief in the apron on the front portion. This will give me a little bit more leg room in case I'm sitting at the bench. And since it's a jigsaw, the cut wandered quite a bit, but that's easily repaired using a hand plane and a rasp. Then I'll round over all of the edges on the base, as well as the legs. Now I'll glue and clamp the legs into place. Once the glue's dry, I'll add some screws. I am really happy with how square that is. Now I'll just repeat that process for the other 3 legs. The last thing I need to do is add a few pocket holes to the aprons. These will be used to attach the top. And just like I did for the top, I'm going to add a coat of boiled linseed oil to the base. I'm a mess. And just like that, my work table is complete. This thing's pretty solid for a really simple base. This thing's gonna work out great while I'm working on guitars, doing setup and maintenance. Now probably in the future, I'll add some kind of a guitar vise and that sort of thing, maybe build a shelf or something on the back. Right now, all I need is this thing to be functional because I've got some guitars lined up that I need to get working on. So thanks a lot for watching this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and let me know by hitting that thumbs up button down below. Also, down in the description, you'll find links to all my social media accounts. We can connect over there and you can follow along and see what's happening here in the shop. I've got a lot of other projects coming up, and if you don't want to miss any of them, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the little bell icon if you want to be notified from YouTube when I upload a new video. I've got a lot of other videos on my channel, some of which will be linked right here, so you can head on over and check them out. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching.